Okay, so this is my pitch on my graphic, which is untitled. Thank you. So I'm just going to talk quickly about the synopsis, the kind of narrative, theme, genre, style, atmosphere, the reasons for making the film, just kind of the more filmy logistics of it, kind of more creative stuff. Then I'm going to go into the target audience, the preferred elements, which is like costumes, stuff like that. Locations, quick look at the budget, funding, time frame for it, how we're going to recoup the investment, and then the references. So, quick synopsis is the film is about a neurotic control freak, Sophie. She basically wants to set her sister Jess up on a blind date, but she's disguising it as a party with a guy from work. So the guy from work does not know anything about this. And the two girls are around it, but the whole thing is, well, because the sister's a control freak, it just goes on from there, and it's fun, basically. So the narrative is influenced by kind of romance literature, like Sinead Moirt's kind of stuff, and romantic comedies, like Love Rosie, and it kind of sticks to the common theme of rom-coms where it's like guy meets girl, obstacles ensue, at the end they all get together. It's kind of the standards that way. Again, it's a rom-com, romantic comedy, and it's based on, the theme is basically romance and love and how people experience them and the different ways it can start and etc. So it'll be kind of the way I'm going to shoot it is in a lot of mids and close-ups. Like there will obviously be wides, but I don't think it's going to match with the style of the film. But a lot will be to kind of really get into what the characters are experiencing, going through, kind of really bring the audience in with the characters. But they use a lot of colour, massive amount of colour, because obviously that's a huge influencer in comedy to kind of bring it out of itself. It's very not, I find myself with comedy, it's not very like natural colours, it's all very bright and fluorescent and stuff. And it's quite a light-hearted film, so keep it that way. So the main reason this film's being made is because I wanted to kind of do a slightly new approach on rom-com, on romantic comedies, to kind of go back to, because like a lot of it now, they're all social media, so it's a big aspect, and the way the whole dating world now has changed nowadays. In modern day, that's coming into a huge amount into the romantic comedy films now, and I kind of want to go back to the way it was before that, before all the Tinder and Facebook and Twitter and whatever. But do it kind of a more modern, modern day thing. I also, one of the other reasons for making this is it's going to be a showpiece for my directing genre also. So it's going to be targeted at around a specific 15A and above, because there will be language and adult themes which are not suitable for kids or 12-year-olds. It'll be both male and female, but predominantly women, I would imagine, will view the film. It'll appeal to more, like internationally, it will kind of go across many regions, but some of the humour in it is very Irish. So in that way it'll be more reflective. It'll do very well, I'd say, here, hopefully. And then the main demographic will be female and male between 15 to 35, obviously outside that, in the older ages. And then anybody who kind of likes rom-com and romance and comedy films. So kind of preferred elements is, this is just a quick look at costumes, just kind of the kind of flouncy kind of stuff is the one for Jessie, who's the main character, who's the sister, and then the Sophie's the neurotic control freak. I kind of want to use costume in a way to kind of help to kind of mould who the characters are by what they wear and how they present themselves on this and market that she works with. These are just suggestions for actors that I would like to use that kind of look and style. They are not confirmed in any way, shape or form, and they are open to interpretation and other stuff. But just kind of give it kind of a rough, what you're looking at, like age range, stuff like that. Locations. So this one here is I couldn't get an exact picture of the location, what it is. It's, the one here on the left there's a kitchen in basically in it, it's a really, really big kitchen. So that kind of very open kind of country home kind of stuff. I want to have everything very bright. There's also a sitting room in it. It's all done within one location, still within the house, but I want it to be very kind of open and wide, which will make it easier for logistics of production, shooting and movement, and we can get around and stuff like that within the location. So this is the budget overview here. There's a link here in pink. That is for my full budget, which is details, pre-production, post-production, everything in between, and it itemises each thing and what every penny will be spent on, basically. So the main things we deal with here are pre-production, in production and post. So in pre-production, looking at the script, casting, locations, catering, transport. I've included transport because there will be a certain amount of transporting directors and producers around the place and stuff like that as well. So script 1500, casting 800, locations 1250, catering 200, and transport 420. So that brings it to a total for pre-production of 4170. Then in production, the main expense throughout this is the crew. It's very expensive. So it's 5,700 for cast. Crew is, I think that includes extras as well, because I have 3 actors and there was 4 to 5 extras I think I had on that. Crew is 36,300, and that's not even like a massive crew, that's just on my sit down. But then locations 1,500, transport is 2,800, catering 4,230, because there's catering throughout the whole production. Equipment was 2,335, so I suppose that was cheap for them. And then costumes 200, which then brought that to a total of in production budget of 53,065 euro. But post-production, editing is going to be around 4,000 euro, give or take. Colour correction, 2,000. I have 2,500 for festival entries, because obviously with Film Free Winter with that there is free, but there is also one you have to pay for. I'm then 1,500 for music and score, which brings that to a total of 10,000. I have a contingency of 10% on my whole budget, which brings my grand total to 62,749.50. Don't forget 50%. So funding I'm looking at was the Irish Film Board. They have a lot of funding for short films, but every single one of their funding programs is under review at the moment, so you can't apply for anything. Film base, if you shoot in Offaly, they will give you 8,000 euro, but you have to shoot in Offaly. So that's the thing they're doing for short films at the moment. The Art Council have nothing available for shorts at the moment. And if they did that, this wouldn't qualify at all. Media Desk is run by Creative Media Europe, and they do have funding available, but it's very complicated to try and find specifically what you're finding. And the Broadcasting Authority have a minimum funding of 50,000 euro. It has an Irish theme, but it's very strange the way their layout is done out. But you have to be spending at least 50,000 euro for them to fund you anyway. Then Northern Ireland Screen have feature film funding. It's some bits about short films, but no detail as to how much or what are the conditions and stuff. There's also crowdfunding.